Good morning. It's the Call Flo Radio Show, and you're on the air.
Well, you can be if you give us a call at 434-394-0924. That's the number to call for the Call Flo Radio Show. Yep. It's your Thursday, January 23rd. I'm Chris Wood, and I've got Noah Massage in the studio with me.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well this morning. Cold.
Cold.
It's cold.
It is cold.
As a son of a gun out there. Yeah, no, it's...
Yes.
I woke up and I was like, it's like, why?
I woke up at 5:30 because I knew that I had to get up at 6:30 or a little bit after 6 or whatever, and turn the gas logs on, but it was still rather chilly when I turned them off this morning. But anyway, we'll get through it. It's going to warm up.
Yeah.
Temperature's a little more seasonal, or maybe even above seasonal.
Yeah.
So, how was your
yesterday?
Morning? How was your morning? How was your yesterday?
How was my morning? How was my yesterday? It was interesting. I had an interesting night last night. I can't really get into too much detail, but just a bizarre sequence of events that unfolded. Hanging out with a friends. I don't want to get into it too much, but it's very... I'll tell you after the show, and I mean, maybe I'll warm up to the idea of telling people about it on air. But
you don't have to.
It's really, it's just one of those things that it doesn't happen often, and when it happens, you're like, this is really weird that.
Now you piqued our curiosity, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll
reveal it. I'll reveal it. Okay. So get this. I'm at a friend's house. Actually, what I'm doing there is, I'm hanging out. I haven't seen them in like a couple of weeks, and so we're catching up, right? And I'll use fake names. So Jim. And I won't use fake names because they'll confuse me. Basically, this one guy, it's two brothers, right?
Right, okay.
Two
but
brothers.
They're not your brothers.
No.
Okay.
And I was talking to them, catching up, just shooting the shinola at them. And, one thing comes to another. And one of the brothers, the younger brother, said, oh, hey, my girlfriend is stopping by. And so, we're talking, drinking a little wine. Like, my friends are classy, or so I thought, because this is what happened.
Am I going to regret asking what happened?
No, you're not. You're not. Trust me.
All right.
So, we're drinking a little wine. We actually have many bottles of champagne for some reason. They had several, I think it was 4 bottles of, champagne unopened. And so we opened a couple and we're just having some light drinks, nothing too crazy. And also at this time, the oldest brother was making some dinner and he was making burritos, which in my mind, burritos and burritos and like wine don't really mix. So I was like, I'll pass. Thank you though. Get this though. So the girlfriend of the younger brother comes over. She's there, right? And she's a little, she's a little interesting, to say the least. And what ends up happening, Chris, is so like she comes in and she's like, we're just like all kind of standing around. There were some other people there that weren't related, but friends of friends. So, we were all talking and she comes in and it got really quiet. And so I was like, oh, let me like ask this girl to kind of break the silence and the awkwardness, like where she's from, blah, 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 just like the basic questions. And so she's like, oh, I'm from blah, 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 and da, da, da. And then immediately she was like, all right, so I'm going to leave now. And so she heads out and the youngest brother, the boyfriend, goes out, steps out with her. And then the oldest brother comes back into the kitchen. He was in the basement, comes back into the kitchen. The girl comes back inside. What basically ends up happening, to cut to the chase, at some point, the oldest brother ended up stealing the girlfriend away within the night. I mean, that's bizarre.
That quick?
There was a fight that broke out. Not really like a fist fight, but just like a
confrontation.
Confrontation for sure. But the thing that bothered me was the oldest brother was almost like leading her on in a way and intentionally playing with her. And it was I told him I was like, what you did tonight was evil. He's like a weird guy, but like, you know, I was like, what? This is, you can't be doing this to your youngest brother, you know. I think siblings have, you know, certain boundaries that you don't cross. You probably shouldn't ever date somebody your sibling dated at some point in time. I think that's just a standard rule. It's a standard. It's unspoken, because who would have to say that? You know, like. Well,
it's the same way with the best friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think friends might vary. I mean, like, because, like, you know, friends constantly change, and some are your real friends, and then some are, like, you know, schmo friends, I call them. So, anyways, like, but, like, I think the thing about the sibling thing, though, it's blood. You're related by blood and genetics. And by parents. So there's something more serious about that. And so, the fact is, the oldest brother, apparently made out at some point. I wasn't there, but for that. But yeah, made out with the girlfriend of the youngest brother. And it was just, like, it was like a classic heist of a partner. So, you know, the youngest brother was heartbroken.
I'm sure
he was devastated.
Now, don't blame it all on the brother.
I'm blaming it on
the girlfriend.
Too. I think the girl was a little kooky.
Yeah,
I'll put that out there. Flaky. I think she was hugely flaky. But I'm blaming it on the oldest brother that he agitated some of that as well. Like, he was going along with it 100%, and then. Afterwards, okay, I'm so sorry. This might be the most boring thing that our listeners can be hearing, and if that's the case, I apologize. But afterwards, I was talking to him, the oldest brother, the one who, you know, stole the girlfriend away. I was like, dude, come on. No, sorry, I don't talk like that. But I was like, well, why did you do it? Blah blah blah. And he was like, you know, but he said some, like, BS. He was like, oh well, X, Y, and Z. But then he said this, Chris, which was alarming as all can be. You know, he was like, I'm happy it happened that way, though, because this is what he said. He said, I'm happy it happened because I learned more about myself. And I'm like, and this is what I said to him. I was like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the, like, murderers that are in prison are happy it happened because they learn more about themselves. Or, like, you know, maybe, like, a husband cheating on his wife is, like, happy it happened because he got to learn more about himself. Like, what does that even mean? That's nonsense. That's just bizarre.
That's narcissistic.
It's narcissistic for sure. Yeah, he's feeding his ego. He's just like, it's all about me. Oh, yeah. Well. So it's like the most crazy thing. I've never expected that to happen. And we all got together to, like, kind of catch up. It was supposed to be like a nice kind of evening.
Yeah.
Totally went off the rails. Like, immediately. So
I'd like to be a flea or something
on me.
A fly or something like that on you, or try to get into your head.
Yeah, you've seen trust me, I've seen some bizarre things.
Yeah.
But that was really something. And yeah, just I felt like I needed to bathe in, like, hot water after being in that house that night, last night.
Yeah.
This is all very fresh to me, but I need, like, boiling hot water poured all over me to just cleanse me from that experience. Because I'm disturbed a little bit after seeing that. It's a horrible thing that happened. Yeah. Like, brothers, I think, can fight, but not like that. You don't steal. Somebody's partner like that. And yeah, it's unfortunate. It's truly unfortunate. Anyway, so that's a little bit of my evening. And I think you also asked about my morning. I woke up, got a little coffee to go, drove here, got here a bit early, like 6 o'clock right on the dot, and had another cup of coffee in the studio, and I've just been chipping away at work ever since I got here. So. Okay. That was my evening and morning, Chris.
Okay.
All right. You got the full story.
I got the full story.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that.
Of course. I try.
It was entertaining to a certain extent.
Yeah. Call in and, see, tell us if that was entertaining or not. I would love to kind of get a gauge on that. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I think I'm exhausted.
After that? Oh, boy.
Anyway, okay. We do have open lines today. It's open mic day. 434-394-0924 is the number to call in if you want to make any comments about
that story. I'm happy to answer any questions, to be honest with you. I'm a very open book, you know.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, while we're rating, let's go to our...
This Day in History.
Yeah, This Day in History.
Course.
Our featured event took place in 1997 when Madeleine Albright was sworn in as U.S. Secretary of State. And she had earlier served as U.S. ambassador to the UN. She assumed under President Bill Clinton the office of Secretary of State, becoming the first woman to hold that cabinet post. And she was a good one. More events on this date. In 2021, American talk show host Larry King, whose easygoing interview style helped make Larry King Live. That was from 1985 to 2010, one of CNN's longest-running and most popular programs. He died on this date at the age of 87.
Wow.
In 2011, American physical fitness guru Jack LaLanne, who became the first host of a televised exercise program with the debut of the Jack LaLanne Show, died at the age of 96. So he had a good long life. 2005, American comedian Johnny Carson, who, as host of The Tonight Show from 1962 to 1992, established the standard format for television talk shows and came to be considered the king of late-night TV. And he died on this date at the age of 79.
Interesting.
1997, the age of Aquarius dawned. Some astrologers believe because for the first time since 1475, a number of planets, the sun and the moon, were aligned in a perfect six-pointed star in the first degrees of Aquarius. I remember that. 1997.
Wow.
1986, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland inducted its first class, which included Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, and Elvis Presley. Johnny Rivers still isn't in there. I can't understand that.
That's unfortunate. He did a lot of, he did a lot.
Yeah.
He worked.
Very hard.
Yeah.
1977, the TV miniseries, Roots, an adaptation of Alex Haley's best-selling novel, debuted. It became one of the most popular shows in the history of American television and galvanized attention on African-American issues and history. On this date in 1964, the 24th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which prohibited the federal and state governments from imposing poll taxes before a citizen can participate in a federal election, that was ratified. 1939, American disability rights activist Ed Roberts, who was considered the founder of the independent living movement, was born in San Mateo, California. I'll get it right there in a minute. 1849, Elizabeth Blackwell, who was born in England, received an MD degree from Geneva Medical College in New York, becoming the first American-trained woman physician. Dr. Elizabeth Blackwell. 1789, Georgetown College, now Georgetown University, was established in Washington, D.C. And there you have it.
Nice. That was a handful of history.
Handful of history. Let's see. Edward Monet, the French painter.
Yes.
He was born on this date in 1832 in Paris, France. He died on April 30th of 1883 at the age of 51, also in Paris. That was Edward Monet.
Interesting.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite painter? It's so hard to say that because, I don't know. I mean, I think everybody has, a favorite painting, but as far as, a favorite painter goes, there's so many of them.
Yeah. Well, the art that's in my house is by, most of it is by Eldridge Bagley, who is a local folk artist, and lots of people know him.
Also, you have some Mark. Yeah.
Yes, I have some of his. I also have some of, I'll think of his name in just a minute. I can't remember now. I mean, I can see it, but I can't. I
hate when that happens.
I know.
Yeah, it's like need more coffee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I do need some coffee. I haven't had any coffee, but anyway, I'll think of his name.
Have you ever tried painting before, Chris? Because you
I used to paint by number.
so no. Well, paint by number. Is it a? I missed the joke. I'm sorry.
It's not a joke.
Oh, paint by number? Mm-hmm. Paint numbers?
No.
Paint by number.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
On this piece of canvas,
sure,
there is a scene, and each in each one of those scenes or places or wherever, like if a branch, or a branch of a tree is brown, then they have the number 2 on it, and number 2 means you paint it with brown paint.
Okay. Oh, got you.
Okay, and that is just coming back into popularity. I've noticed it on social media.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you can paint by number and just make it look like a regular painting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever took a brush and just started going crazy minus the number?
No.
Do you ever throw paint at a canvas and
no.
slap your hand on it? Okay.
No.
All right. Yeah.
I can't draw the broad side of a barn, much less anything else. But I can do a swan. I do a swan pretty good. But that's about it.
Can you make the origami at all?
Can't draw. No.
Okay.
No, nothing like that. My brain is not. It doesn't work that way. It's just like in math. I could add figures and stuff like that, but if a train is going this fast, and
those problems with
those word problems and stuff like that.
A guy is running by a train at 10 miles an hour. The train is going 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, I just And
then it's like two things, and then it's something unrelated. So it's guy running
like algebra,
train, and then it's it's just so bizarre. Those questions.
A plus Z equals X.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. My brain just doesn't get it.
Sure. So, totally understandable.
Yeah. Anyway, it's 25 minutes after 8 o'clock.
Open phone lines.
Yeah, no, just talking away, waiting for somebody to call.
Doing a little chit chat. Maybe the show's going so well, Chris, that people are enthralled in our conversation.
Do you really believe that?
I kind of think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel a whole lot better.
I feel like when nobody's calling in, it's because they're listening and they're curious about what we're about to say. And the thing is, I don't even know what I'm about to say. It kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. And that makes
planning.
That makes you very special. It really does.
Stop.
Yeah.
I try to figure it out along the way, while I'm talking, which is difficult when I'm in a professional setting because, like I said,
All right. What about oddities here?
Oddities, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see if we can find something to take us down to the bottom of the hour. And right now I'm just getting pop-up after pop-up. Here we go. All right. A blooming plant that reeks of gym socks and rotting garbage has thousands lining up for a whiff. And have you heard of this plant before?
I have not heard of a smelly plant, no. It's
called the corpse flower. And it only blooms about once a year. And it's a rare and endangered plant that emits the smell of decaying flesh. It draws hundreds of devoted fans to a greenhouse in Sydney, Australia today, where they joined 3-hour lines to experience a momentous bloom and a fragrance-evoking gym socks and rotting garbage. Tall, pointed, and smelly, the corpse flower is scientifically known as, and I'm not even going to try to, it's Amorphopolis titanum.
That sounds right, Chris.
Yeah. The plants are found in a Sumatran rainforest, but to fans, this specimen, she's called Putricia. And she was eagerly adopted by her followers, who naturally call themselves putricians. For a week, she has graced a stately and thick display in front of a purple curtain and wreathed in mist from a humidifier at the Royal Sydney Botanic Garden. Her rise to fame has been rapid, and up to 20,000 admirers filing past for a moment in her increasingly pungent presence. No corpse flower has bloomed at the garden for 15 years. And it's really something.
The real question is, would you smell the plant?
I don't know. I probably would, since it's, it's something that doesn't occur. It's unique.
It's very unique, yeah.
Unique. Well, there are thought to be only 300 of the plants in the wild and fewer than 1,000, including those in cultivations. The corpse flower only blooms it's not every year. It's every 7 to 10 years in its natural habitat. In fact, the fact that they open very rarely, so the flower rarely, is obviously something that puts them at a little bit of a disadvantage in the wild. And when they open, they have to hope that another flower is open nearby because they can't self-pollinate. So they have to be, there have to be 2 of them. But anyway, you can come around here and look at this plant. It's really unique. It even looks putrid.
It does look very unappealing.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the story of the
smelly plant. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So there we go.
That was a good one, Chris. Good one.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll have to get one of those shipped to the office, and maybe we can do a little giveaway. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it is nearing the bottom of the hour, so I guess we go ahead and
get out.
I gotta get ready for the business.
The forecast is coming up. It's brought to you by Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading, located at 2113 Cumberland Road in Farmville.
Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading has been helping to build Southside and Central Virginia since 1960. Providing all excavation, general contracting, and hauling needs. 5 miles north of Farmville, 2113 Cumberland Road, at the intersection of 45 and Range Tavern Road. Call 392-6010 or stop by Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading.
Your forecast calls for a cold weather advisory until 10 o'clock this morning. But it should warm up. We get out of those 20s for highs. Mostly sunny today with a high of 37 degrees. For tonight, mostly clear with a low of 18. On Friday, mostly sunny with a high around 40. Friday night, mostly clear with a low of 15 degrees. On Saturday, sunny with a high 42. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low of 24 degrees. For Sunday, partly sunny with a high 48, and for Sunday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 27 degrees. Outside, our humidity is at 71%, our barometer at 30.36 inches, holding fairly steady. We do have winds coming out of the southwest at around 5 miles per hour. We're still cloudy outside, and it's currently 16 degrees after a low of 13. So there you go. That's your weather. Brought to you by Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading. Give them a call at 434-392-6010. That's 6010. All right. Let's get to the birthday calendar coming up for this 23rd day of January. It's brought to you by Creative Electrical Contractors, located at 1907 East 3rd Street in Farmville.
Creative Electrical Contractors specializes in commercial and industrial projects and offers quality work at competitive prices. CEC is a licensed Class A contractor in Virginia and North Carolina. Creative Electrical Contractors has been in business for 25 years, still committed to the values that were established when the company opened in 1998. Integrity, quality workmanship, and timely delivery. CEC, located at 1907 East 3rd Street, Farmville. You can contact CEC at 434-392-3802 or at creative-electrical.com.
All right, Noah, it's that time. We've got a birthday calendar coming up, and Noah Massage has got the names for us.
All right, is this thing on? Okay. Hey, Chris, we got some birthdays, some good birthdays. Starting off the list, we have Kim Gates. We also have Nicole Daniela Hammonds celebrating today. And last but not least, also Joey Foster having a birthday. So those are the three birthdays for today, January 23rd. Again, that is Kim Gates, Nicole Hammonds, and Joey Foster celebrating today.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Happy birthday to those people. Mm-hmm. And if you want to get us a birthday, if you have a birthday that you want to give us, you can call in at 434-394-0924. That's the number to call in. Let people know so we can celebrate it with you. You can also email it to birthdays@wflo.net or go on our website. And under the on-air mentions, we have a birthday page that you can submit a list of birthdays to us. So it's a couple of different ways of getting those to us. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. The birthday calendar was brought to you by Creative Electrical Contractors. If it's not right, they'll make it right. Call 434-392-2802. Our time is 8:34. The phone number, 434-394-0924. If you want to call us, let us know what's going on in your
how's
world.
your day?
Yeah. How you're keeping warm. I'm not keeping very warm, but
it's
anyway,
a bit chilly.
I will survive.
I was looking on Farmville now, and I didn't realize this, but there's a stew off. Chris, do you make a good stew?
I do make a good stew.
Maybe you should participate. It's called Battle of the Stews. It's at 3 Roads, so right down the street. And it's happening on this weekend, Friday, at 5:30, beginning at 5:30. So I think you can bring your own stew. It's like a stew contest. So everybody kind of brings a stew, and then they judge on which stew is the best stew. And the thing is, I have not made a stew yet. So that's one. I made soups and stuff like that. But when I think of stew, I think of heavy or thick cut potatoes and steak or beef.
I like to make a stew out of venison.
Oh yeah. There you go. Sounds nice.
It can either be chopped up, the tenderloin, or you can use the ground. Venison as well.
Sure.
And then, you add your vegetables and potatoes and stuff like that.
What's the difference between a stew and a soup? I don't know the difference. Is there a difference?
Soup is soupier than a stew.
Oh, a stew is thicker?
Stew is thicker, yeah.
Okay.
Usually, if you're going to make a stew, you're going to try to use a thickener with it.
Interesting.
Make a roux from butter and flour. Just use a stick of butter and just enough flour to make it kind of thick.
Sure.
Just throw it in there.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
In the last stages of
stew is thicker then. Okay. Because here's the thing. My mother growing up would make this thing called beef stew, and that's what she would call it. It was beef and chopped up, thick chopped up potatoes and rough cut carrots. But it's very rough and it's very big, gigantic carrot. Almost just snapping a carrot in half and throwing it in the soup. In the stew.
Hey, Stoop.
Hey,
now.
Hey, not a bad. We discovered something here.
Between stew and soup.
She would call it beef stew, but it would be the consistency of water. The broth. It was almost more soupy than actual soup that I've had. I've had soup that's thicker than the beef stew. So I always thought what made a stew was not necessarily the broth, but the roughness of the ingredients and the kind of just chunkiness. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe I guess it is the broth. That would make more sense. A thick broth. That sounds nice. I would love a stew right now. That sounds. I'm getting in the mood for stew in a little bit. Yeah. So I think you and I should both participate.
Well, if it's tomorrow, I don't think so. I don't have time.
Oh, okay.
Good morning. You're on the Call Flo Show.
Oh, great. Good morning, Earthlings.
Earthlings. All right.
All right.
A new one. Not really.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Were you just talking about the contest at the brewery?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. You know, after you guys were trying to describe it, I wonder if, and I'm just pondering this, if there is if like stew was for, and this would have been years ago, for more of a wealthy person, and soup was, the less fortunate.
The poor, yeah.
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 I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought. I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, it would make sense. Yeah.
But
stew just sounds, more like, I don't know, just like
hearty, more dinner-like. Yeah.
Exactly, superior. Than soup. Soup sounds like a sad can. Like when I hear soup, I think of like a can that has the label ripped off and it's just silver looking, and you just pour it out and it's just some mysterious weird liquid that you then heat up on the stove.
Yes, they give you chunky in a spoon and say, "Here, this is stew."
Yeah.
Or I'm having soup.
Do you make a good stew caller? And would you mind bringing some down to the studio at some point? No, I'm kidding.
I have not.
Okay.
I have not found that. Well, I think I could just replace the meat with a vegetable and probably pull it off.
Yeah.
But
all right. Go ahead.
No.
All right. The main difference between soup and stew is the amount of liquid used. A soup typically has significantly more liquid, with ingredients fully submerged, while stew has less liquid, resulting in a thicker, chunkier consistency with larger pieces of meat and vegetables that are just barely covered by the liquid while cooking.
Okay.
So there you go.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now I'm ready for Jeopardy. Yes. Woo.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Huh. So when you started to talk about your dilemma, with your friends.
Yeah, the situation, a little bit of a problem there.
I know. I actually thought it was going to get juicy, and it's like, and then a menage a trois and blah blah. And oh my gosh.
The juiciest part, or the most dramatic-filled part, would be the point where the oldest brother ended up making out with the youngest brother's girlfriend for an unknown period of time, and then the younger brother just being heartbroken. I honestly thought there might have been a fight that would have ensued, but no fight, no fists were thrown. But there was a severance in the relationship that is the brother to brother relationship in that family. It's severed. It's gone. It's done.
Oh,
Dunzo.
Man, and it's like, I don't know why we put so much value in relationships like that. Because it's like half the planet is the opposite sex. So you can easily find another.
Oh, exactly.
And and just look at it as we spent time together, and it was fun, and that's it.
Yeah.
Let my pass it on. Keep it in the family.
I think the despicable part is that the oldest brother intentionally did that. There was an intention there of wanting to steal this girl from the youngest brother, and then also doing that the same night she came over. It was a very bizarre. It almost felt like like something out of a scripted TV show. The whole night was very strange, like that.
But then you wonder if that happens so easily, what is she doing when you're not around?
Yeah, exactly. I think the woman has a blame. She deserves some of the blame, but also as a brother, why would you intentionally go out to do this to your other brother? There's that is something. It's somehow even worse, I feel like.
And what will be funny is if you go to a family function and dad and mom were divorced years ago, and you find that dad is now dating her.
It's like,
wow.
That's good. Nice.
So.
You notice I'm staying out of this conversation.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Feel free to chip in, Chris. I'd love to hear your feedback.
I understand, the brothers and all of that.
The sacred bond.
The sacred bond.
Yeah, it's a sacred bond.
Yeah. What about the sacred bond between the girl and the younger brother?
Less sacred.
Yeah.
It's less sacred, The thing is, they are in a relationship, and it's a very frilly is not the right word, but it's very it's not a well structured relationship. It's not deep. It's not deeply rooted.
Okay.
They're not like it's not like they've been dating for 5 years or something. It's not. It's very surface level. But the betrayal that I see is the intention of the oldest brother eyeballing that situation, being like, I'm going to do things tonight to take my brother's girlfriend away from him. And and that was like a predatory.
You have to be there to witness it.
Sure.
So
it felt like
you're positive that
it felt like animals in the wild. It wasn't like the girl did that. It's not like she caused all of it. Mm-hmm. She definitely was being kind of manipulated. But the manipulator was definitely the oldest brother in that situation, 100% without a doubt. Yeah. Case closed.
Right. He's a scoundrel.
There's this is a case that Perry Mason would dream of, Chris.
Oh my gosh! But then they have the Beyonce song. You should have put a ring on it. If you liked it. So.
Well, maybe it wasn't that serious.
It was like a 4-week relationship. It's a very shallow, not shallow, but
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much more fun to speculate.
Yeah.
There's so much more out of it.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting night, but like I said, I felt like I needed to get cleansed, like go to the Catholic Church.
Well, it's a good thing Katie wasn't with you.
Yeah,
God,
I mean that would have been
terrible.
She would have been having nightmares about that event because it was just an awful in the air. You could feel like
tension.
There was just the room. Even after everything happened, the room was just awful. Like the total
evilness,
devastation, and the total disaster of a situation that happened. It was all there. You can just feel it. You can, yeah.
But then the guy that was stole the gal.
Yeah.
It seems like when you go to sleep at night, there's like a few seconds just before you fall asleep, and you think about the bad things that you've done, and how you should have maybe treated that person a little kinder. Mm-hmm. So that's something that guy has to live with.
Yeah, lock your doors. If I was the oldest brother, lock the doors and put a bolt, like a chain lock on the door, because I would be afraid of waking up to the younger brother standing over me with like a pillow, something out of The Godfather, like.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I literally, the weirdest thing, I literally went over there last night just to catch up. It was supposed to be very, usually it's very just like a chill, catching up and, planning different things together, projects that we do. And, but I mean, that's totally not what happened that night. What happened was just like a soap opera almost. It was like a dramedy soap opera. Yeah. That's not why I went over there.
Yeah.
And then there was the champagne bottles everywhere, and it's a disaster. Sorry.
You think that some of that could have been the cause of the champagne?
I don't think it was a very, very low. Champagne's already low in alcohol, so yeah. Well. But no, it was.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. I'll keep people informed.
Yeah, please keep us informed.
And if you're interested in what happened to my neighbor, that neighbor situation I was dealing with a couple of weeks ago. I'm just going to start sharing all my life in
I know you're going to open your diary.
It's getting cracked open today. The weirdest thing with my neighbor. Obviously she was making insane noise that's not even worldly, just bangs. It sounds like something like planets being exploded. That's the sound my neighbor was making from downstairs, literally just explosion sounds. And so, the property manager ended up sending a letter to her, I believe, because I mentioned, I was like, hey, this noise is disruptive. They were like, okay, we got you. We're going to go ahead and send her a letter. She got a letter, dead silence. She's there for like 3 or 4 days straight. Silence. Nothing. I see her outside in the parking lot when I'm coming home, when I'm leaving to go to work. She gives me these dirty looks, right? Just like awful. And she smokes like Cherokees, I think, or something. Like the worst kind of cigarette that you can buy with money. Like it somehow, and she just is out there with a scrunched up face and just like steaming with anger and rage and just like a powerful anger. And so I was dealing with that. No loud noise, which was great. Occasional really loud door slam you would hear from her, probably like twice a day at this point, but no music, no nothing, and then after those 4 days, I woke up, got out of bed, and the most shocking thing you can imagine, her truck is gone. And if you know anything about this neighbor that I mentioned, she does not go out ever. She never drives. Literally since November, her truck was in the same place that it was when she first moved in. She doesn't go out. She gets groceries delivered to her door, so she just stays home all day. So, of course, I get why she's a mad, insane woman, because I would be a mad, insane man if I stayed home in my apartment all day with the only goal in my mind is like, hey, how many cigarettes can I smoke today? Like, that's literally her only goal in life.
Well, she can't.
She wakes up.
She can't smoke in
No,
the
not inside. But you can hear the outdoor, like the door slam, like every time she goes out. She genuinely smokes maybe 2 packs a day, which is like a shocking amount of cigarettes for somebody who's over 50 years old.
That's a lot of nicotine.
You can do that. You might be able to pull that off when you're 20 or something. It's not recommended by anybody, but a 50-year-old doing that's a death wish. That's like that's like a murder almost to yourself. So anyways, getting off a little topic. But what ended up happening is I went outside and her truck was gone and she never goes out. So I was like, this is weird. And so I was leaving to go to work. I came back from work, spent the whole day at work. So, whatever, like from 7 to 6. And so I come back home, truck is still gone. I'm like, this is getting weird because she's never gone. Like, literally, if you know her, she's always in her apartment. So I was like, this is unusual. The next day, same thing. The next day, same thing. But the thing is, she didn't move out. There was never a U-Haul. You can still see her wreath on the door, and she has like a broom outside her apartment.
She usually fly off on her broom.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, it's like a witch's broom. Like she has it outside.
That's your second ride.
I never seen her sweep in my life.
To back up.
But I can imagine her flying off of that broom. Yeah, using it as transportation. So she hasn't moved out. She has not moved out. She still lives there, but she's been gone for several days. I don't know if she went to Jersey to get some of the gang back together, some of the posse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's anybody's guess. Wow. It's anybody's guess,
funny.
but she's not. Yeah, it's like kind of concerning because
maybe she's.
You're concerned when she's there, but you're concerned when she's gone.
The absence of her disappearance is concerning because it does feel like she hates us with such a powerful hate. That's why she's gone. But my thing is she's
going to come back?
Is she's going to come back? She has to.
With revenge.
I feel like it, right? I don't know. I'm speculating, but if I wind up dead, you guys know.
Heaven forbid.
It's my neighbor.
Okay.
It literally feels like it's that kind of tension, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really awful. It's really awful. Never says anything to us. And I tried being nice to her. We were nice with her in the very, very beginning stages. But at some point, she just turned on us. And even like talking to other neighbors, being like, "Oh, those people are terrible. They're so loud. They're like elephants," which is so funny, honestly. Like I love being compared to an elephant. I think that's really funny. But yeah, She's insane.
Yeah, sounds like
snitch, man.
Yeah,
you're a daggone snitch.
Oh well.
A snitch, man. Now, do you think she's driving to upstate New York to get the
I really do
like reservation cigarettes or something?
I made that's like yeah, it's a joke, but like I feel like she is like doing something because like she was so upset that she's been gone for days now. It's been like 4 days with her gone. She's not home at all. So like it's either she's visiting family, which I'm shocked if that's the case. This lady does not look like she cares about anybody. Or she's literally getting the mafia to come at my door. But the thing is, like, I'm also Italian. She is Italian. I'm also a little bit Italian, and I'm also a little bit Italian. And I mentioned a family name of mine, like a family, like an Italian family name, and she was like, "I know a couple of those people in Jersey." So, like, I wonder if we're somehow
she's totally crazy,
or she's totally making it up.
Totally
it's somehow
paranoid,
schizophrenic, kooky, bananas. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now she's setting up an alibi.
Yeah.
So she's gone for a few days, and then you're going to be iced, man.
Thanks, caller.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid. Well, but the thing of it is, there were some other tenants there who had complained about her as well. So you weren't
mostly everybody, especially the person that lived next to her when she was playing that insane rave music. It was like, I don't know, being at a disco in New York in 1975, but standing right next to the speaker. Like, it's just the loudest, most obnoxious, vibrating noises.
Why? Why is it?
Sure.
Do you have this little cloud that follows you around?
Chris, this stuff didn't happen. This stuff didn't happen to me. It only started happening to me when I bought that shaman painting that I showed you, and that's why I blame. Sorry, I'm kidding.
Oh my god!
I'm serious though. I never had problems like this when I didn't have that painting in my life. Now I have the painting in my life. Just insanity. Just pure insanity.
My goodness. But it's not in your house right now, is it?
It is. It's back.
Oh, it is? Is it back in your house?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It all makes sense now.
I guess. Wow.
Keep your distance.
Yeah. Yep. Stay away.
Well, how are things going along when it was over at the shop right across?
I don't think it was a noticeable difference, but like when I did bring it back, it was like a couple of weeks later when Jody started being insane and rowdy and up in a huff and a puff. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll have to see. You might have to an experiment.
Take it out for a
couple of weeks.
And write notes about like day logs.
Yeah, day logs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to really test it is to take that painting and give it to somebody else and like, can you keep this for 4 weeks? Mm-hmm. And then see what happens in their life. And then you might be able to nail it.
This is a very good idea and
you were
a good plan.
looking over at John about that time.
I was looking over at John because I saw him shaking his head no, and I was like, is it something? He was shaking his head no, and I was like, is it a computer problem or is it my story that has annoyed him to know it? And now he's shaking his head yes. I don't know what that means, John. I don't know what you're trying to communicate.
Well, John
but
could use some art in his house.
He could use some art. John would. I mean, I think he would be a great candidate for the painting.
Babysit the painting.
I wish John would come in here and kind of talk about that with us, but if he had time. But he's busy. Right. He's busy. He's looking at his wrist, but there's no watch on it. So that's a classic telltale sign to
Yeah, he'll say it's a freckle past a hair.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
That's funny. That is really funny.
That's reality, man.
So
okay.
Caller, have you ever had an issue like that with in your life with a neighbor or like somebody who you were dealing with that was just completely off the chart nuts?
Yes, but it usually occurs with other people in the house that it has greater value. The neighbors have great value. I've lived with neighbors for years, right next door, and I still don't know their names. Mm-hmm. And my gal knows their grandkids' names. Mm-hmm. So, it's just, no, the neighbors have no value. I keep my distance. I wave. Don't walk to the fence. Just wave. Done.
No eye contact, right?
No, I just mind my own business. But, everybody gets the nasty neighbor.
Yeah.
So. But it's a story.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely a story for sure, yeah. I will never forget when she came to my door on Christmas Day at like 10 o'clock after Katie was done making cookies, banging on my door, saying that we woke her up from her sleep and that she was going to sue us. And I informed her that it was only 10, which is not late for like a holiday. And also we were baking cookies as well. And so, of course, we're walking around our kitchen. Her ideal world is we don't exist upstairs, or we just, levitate so we're not stepping on the floor. Like, the floor is going to make noise. It's a floor. Mm-hmm. It's an old building, It's an old building. Mm-hmm. Sorry. It's an old building. It's wood and nails from 1875. It's not going to be perfectly silent, you know?
Right.
And it was, dilapidated at one point. So they had to restore it from that point as well. It's got character. It's a building. It's nice. It's, a roof over your head. But it's going to make a little noise. And the thing is, if you can't deal with that, maybe you shouldn't be living in an apartment complex. That's just my opinion.
That's right.
Because whether it's your neighbor right next door or above you, neighbors, people living in the same building, there's going to be noise that you don't expect. And you either deal with that by just being like, okay, this is what I chose to do, or you move out. Mm-hmm. You don't complain and say, stop walking. That's like me knocking on her door and be like, hey, can you just stop living? Because you're making so much noise. Can you stop breathing? Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
So
we got to get out of here.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your for the time.
You're very welcome. Call back.
Okay?
All right,
guys.
Take care.
Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. We got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Got news coming up along with weather, then music.
That's right.
Yep. Noah.
Okay, Chris.
We'll
it's been a
do
pleasure.
It again next week.
All right.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.